Am I good, Patty?
Yes, it's great.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. It's just after 10 a.m., 10:02. We're in a regular meeting of the Presidio County Commissioners Court in Marfa at the Marfa Courthouse. I would ask for a quorum check, please. Present.
Commissioner Wonder.
Here.
Present.
Commissioner Precinct 3, Obed Escondillas. Commissioner Precinct 4, Betty Knight. You have the floor.
Thank you so much. If you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And public comments. Any public comments? Any public comments in the audience? Any public comments online? Yes, ma'am. So we'll move on to our routine agenda items. Agenda item number 1, discussion takes action to approve any budget amendments and or line item transfers.
I don't have any of them today. I'm sorry, I didn't have them.
So, okay. Part pass.
Yes.
Agenda item number 2, discuss and take action to approve the auditor's monthly report.
We'll pass it out.
Very good. We'll move on to agenda item number 3, discuss and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Judge. The
Good morning.
under the bill is 106, 097 and 65 cents. We did have a last add on this morning for 360. It just got actually left off the bill, but we added on this morning. Can we have the record reflect that Commissioner Obed Escobar and immediately before, immediately before after.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Sounds very good.
That's something my father would have said. I don't know if you all heard him. He said, "Buenas tardes." Good afternoon. All right, any discussion on the bills?
I'll make a motion that we approve the treasurer's list of bills, claims
I'll
and
second.
bills.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And Judge, if you will pass on the next item, I don't have any further report.
Okay. So we'll move on to agenda item number 5, discuss and take action to approve the previous commissioners' court minutes.
I didn't have them ready, Judge. I'll have them for next.
Okay. And we'll move on to agenda item number 6, updates and or reports from Lone Star Strategy Group.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I was
Good
planning
morning.
on attending in person and seeing your beautiful faces, but I had another meeting right before this one. So in your report, you'll find some pretty good news. Pretty much housekeeping on HB 500. We're working with that, still in progress. We've been able to make good contact with the engineers, Mundo and Associates, and we're working on something for them to come out here and kind of assess what we're going to ask for those funds. And then the next thing is something that we've been assisting with is the NAD Bank technical assistance funding for a solid waste management study that has come in an award for $315,000. So That's some good news. The next steps on that, we're waiting for, pretty much the execution, but also scope of work approval. So pretty much refining the details on what we're gonna work with, what are we asking for, and moving forward with that. This Friday, we'll be having a meeting, so that should be a really good one. And then the last thing is, on HB 3000, this was the Rural Ambulance Services Grant. Some good news as well. We had, been pinging, the comptroller, are we gonna get awarded, or what's their status on our application? And it has come in and a tentative award for 500,000. And the next step on that is executing an agreement with the awarded EMS service through the county. And then on additional reports, this may be the shortest one I've had, but I'll defer right now to Amanda. That way she can give updates on RLEM, what's going on with that, and any findings.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
I've got a pretty long-winded one, but I have been doing a lot, so please forgive me. Okay, I want to give everyone an update on what we've been working on over the last month because I think we've made some great progress. The biggest milestone that we had was a meeting with Stan Metter and the Texas Pacifico team last month. My dad and I had the opportunity to sit down with them and ask a very simple question of what do you actually need? And that gave me a lot of direction. First, we identified 2 positions that Texas Pacifico anticipates needing for Presidio for janitorial services to clean their building in Presidio. Another thing that we discussed was freight opportunities because, again, Stan reiterated that he needs more business for the rail. So we spent a lot of time discussing the workforce development of what it takes to actually build a local railroad workforce. And Texas Pacifico is currently evaluating candidates for roadmaster position. And I asked Stan what this process looks like for someone who has no railroad experience and who wants to become a conductor. And his team explained to me that it is a very rigorous process. Beginning in August, the new candidates would need to spend approximately 3 months in the classroom training in San Angelo, followed by another 3 months of field training. And then after 6 months, about only half of the students successfully complete the program. Stan and his team also said that if a class starts with about 16 students, about only 5 to 8 typically become certified conductors because of the technical demands and responsibility that it comes with operating the train. That conversation gave me a much better understanding of the workforce pipeline and the reinforcement that if we want local residents to fill these positions in the future, we need to start identifying and preparing candidates well in advance. And it did sound like talking with that team that they have already identified a conductor from a competitor railroad that they are looking at making rail master for Presidio, and they think that he's a good fit. Stan also encouraged me to connect with the contractors that provide the rail inspection services for Texas Pacifico. And I believe that that relationship could better help understand the future contracting opportunities for Presidio County and the additional needs to find local workers. And I do have a schedule. I I do have the meeting scheduled in the works. One of the other conversations that we talked about was 1502 flowback iron. Stan really liked that idea because it stacks efficiently on the rail cars, which makes it a practical commodity to move by rail. Based on that conversation, I immediately reached out to several flowback companies. That's a flowback company needs 1502 iron for the oil field for the people in the room that don't know. So I reached out to several flowback companies in San Angelo, and I currently have meetings pending with them. And so I can start developing those relationships. I also have updated the Midland Odessa companies that are flowback companies, and I'll discuss that in a moment. We also talked about the Shafter mine. Stan was receptive to the idea of moving silver, gold, and copper from the mines across to Mexico using his railroad. He didn't dismiss that opportunity, which tells me that it's worth continuing to explore. Another topic was drones. That was an idea that Stan was open to discussing as a part of the future and along the corridor. Now, I do have an unfortunate announcement for Judge Portillo, and his beer train has been officially derailed. Stan wasn't nearly excited as about shipping beer as the railroad. He was not as excited about shipping the beer on the railroad as Judge Portillo. So we'll cross that one off the list. After that meeting, I had I had attended the Humanities of Texas and Texas Commissions on the Art Grant workshop in Fort Stockton on June 24th. To me, that workshop opened up an entirely different lane of opportunity that made a lot of sense with the discussion that we had in Washington, D.C. about using the arts to connect all the counties for the rail. I learned that there are grant programs that can be layered together, not just for art, but for heritage tourism, historic preservation, oral history, documentaries, music, public art, trunk travel exhibits, festivals, plays, concerts, and educational programming. As I listened throughout the day, I kept thinking about the railroad. There were many untold stories along the corridor, so many 50-year-old buildings or older, which is what they need to qualify for these grants. The railroad, the mining history, the water story with the steam locomotives, depending on the water. Um, I mean, all of this falls right into qualifying for these art grants. Another story is in 1902, Arthur Stilwell from Mexico saw the corridor as a way, this corridor to shorten the route between Kansas City and Mexico, nearly 1,600 miles. More than a century later, we're still building on that same corridor. I think these are stories that can position Presidio County to compete for arts, humanities, tourism, and preservation grants. What really excited me at the workshop was that these grants can all be layered together. They don't start with $750,000 award. They start with smaller grants, some as little as 2,500. Some do ask for a 1-to-1 match, and from there they grow from 2,500 to 5K to 10K to 25K to 100K, and it's just a layering process. And I could see realistically $750,000 or $1 million in grant funding with these for over the next 2 years. With the communities that grow because of the railroad, the ghost towns like Shafter, I also do think that they have untold stories in history. So those are eligible stories outside of Presidio, the town, but still in the county. And I don't even think we scratched the surface of the possibilities. Yesterday, I met with Craig Rocha. He's a business owner here in Midland and Odessa. He owns Diversified Energy Services. He just got back from Vietnam, and that's where the 1502 iron is made. And he's trying to figure out better logistics for his company, and he's very interested in the rail. That conversation fits directly into what we discussed with Stan, and it takes an approved freight concept and starts applying it to actual companies. And then his competitor, TSI, is still interested in moving their iron as well. On the regional partners side, I did meet with Remy Ramos in Fort Stockton last week. We already have another meeting scheduled for later this week. Those conversations continue to strengthen our regional relationships and identify additional opportunities outside of Presidio. And one thing that's still on my list that I have not been able to accomplish is to get in touch with Jake and his trucking company. I've reached out several times, but haven't been able to get him on the phone yet. So looking back over this month, I've made serious progress in several important areas. We've identified real workforce opportunities. We've identified freight for Texas Pacifico that makes sense. We've uncovered grant opportunities that could bring investments in preserving the history of this railroad in communities like Shafter. And we have continued building regional partnerships that will help move this project forward. I think that's a pretty productive month, and I'm excited to keep building. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.
And before I move on, I know I mentioned a while ago that I was on a meeting right before this one, and that one was with Workforce. So we talked about two things. One of the things that I had talked to them about way before we had even looked into the HB 3000 opportunity was, some of the things on the actual House bill. There's some gaps. For example, the training, et cetera, of, should we purchase an ambulance, who's going to man it, all of that. And he just talked about some opportunities that could be coming and right along our timeline of when we get these funds, since they're closing out their fiscal year. But one of the things is there could be some actual grant opportunities to pay for certifications, for training of additional staff. Not exactly wages, unless it's an individual, but that's something that we can look into, and I just let them know to keep us posted. The other thing we talked about was a little bit about rail, and I'll be connecting Amanda with them, but what we spoke about was an actual program, whether it's with the schools, internships and local job creation, but also being able to match wages. Should, once this starts going up, speaking with Texas Pacifico, that they will be able to help matching those wages for any job creation here. So, any questions on
Good job,
what's
Ramon.
No, that's great updates. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. I'm excited about all of them. So we'll keep moving forward. I know I met with one of the construction guys from the rail inspection station, and they're moving forward. So Elk Electric is already on site, so they're already doing the electrical hookups and everything for the big NIM system. So they're moving forward, fighting through the heat. So, but thank you so much.
No, thank y'all, and we'll keep, moving forward with it and keep y'all posted on any progress that we make.
Okay, and I'll visit with you after the meeting, Ramon, on the engineer meeting.
Perfect.
Thank you
That
so
works,
much.
Judge. Thank you.
Ramon.
All right, so I'm gonna get out of order. So I'd like to move on. We have some visitors, and they're gonna do a presentation. So does anybody object to us moving to 15?
No.
So I'm gonna move on to agenda item number 15. It's a presentation by GCS IT Services regarding options for IT services and cybersecurity for the Presidio County departments.
This is for you.
Thank you so much, young man.
Thank you.
Yes,
We've been doing, I know it's just a holiday working on cybersecurity in my office, but we've been trying our best. I came to you and explained I'm not capable of IT handling it. The county really needs somebody that can handle the needs that we have right now. So, and September 30th, 2026 will be my last day taking care of that. So, I've been on the talks with GCS, and I think they have a great proposal for us. And they're here to do this presentation for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Ms. Sanchez. So my name is Alec. This is Larry. We're with GCS IT in El Paso. Just so you have a little bit of idea, we've been in business for like 12 years. We're local to El Paso. We know how important it is just to have West Texas support. So we have our main office is in El Paso. We have 2 local techs in Presidio County. So we kind of be quick. Pretty much everything IT. Our job is to support you guys. You have your own things. Ms. Sanchez is super busy. Their office is busy with a lot of other stuff. So you should not have to worry about the IT, and that's hopefully where we can come in and help. So from my understanding and talking with Ms. Sanchez as well, you guys, at the end of either the year, I think your cybersecurity package runs out. And so we have two proposals where we offer both a cybersecurity as well as a data backup proposal. So if you want to look at that second page, that'll kind of give you the GCS core service overview. It'll show you a little bit of what we do. We were ranked Best of El Paso in 2024 for IT services, and then in surrounding areas. We have deployments as far as Puerto Rico as well. So with IT, the cool thing is most of our support, 90% of it is done remotely. So you have a desktop app. If anything goes wrong, you're having issues connecting to a printer, you're having issues connecting to the internet, something went off, something broke. There's a little button, a little icon in the bottom right. You click that, takes 30 seconds to fill out, and then you'll be on the phone in about 15 minutes with one of our techs. Our response time is pretty quick. The last page is kind of a pricing structure difference. That's the bigger one. So you'll see there's the managed cybersecurity package as well as the professional managed IT or the managed IT professional. So that's the full service IT. So if you guys are potentially running out of the deal with ASU in either sometime from September to the end of 2026, in 2027, you will need some sort of cybersecurity. So per computer, we offer that for $35 a month. But it sounds like even in talking to Ms. Sanchez this morning that there's a lot of issues that arise daily. I have issues with this, I have issues with that. And so we'd love to be able to support that. From my understanding, last time there used to be a guy that's helping in Alpine. I think price wise, we'll be able to offer you a substantial discount to what you were paying on that. So roughly 30 devices is kind of what we're looking at that we would support, and that would be everybody's laptop. Every device is associated with a person. So if you have 30 employees, 30 computers, those are all in the same realm. We cover that, but any peripherals like printers, Wi-Fi routers, access points, switches, those fall under that. So you wouldn't pay a separate device fee, and it starts out at $125 per device. But because you guys are over 20 users, we would do a discount of about $100 per device. So you're looking at around $3K a month, depending on how you split it up. Even if you go with a certain department, say auditor's office wants to use it, then we could just support your office. But I think once you guys potentially start working with us, it'll be very easy. Oh, these guys are helpful. Hey, they get the job done. My computer's breaking all the time. I'm having connect issues printing. I'm having a cybersecurity threat issue. The world we live in, anybody can access our computers and our networks. It's kind of scary. There was a taco shop in El Paso that lost $60,000 because somebody hacked into their network, then hacked into their computer, and they just changed their banking information. And they were able to withdraw from their device themselves and send it straight to some fund. And we were able to backtrack it. It was from Afghanistan. So it's just some of these things you don't know where the security threats or stuff can access from. But if you guys have any questions, my card is right on the front. So my direct line is that business card on the front of your right here. So if you have any questions, but if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
So this is above cybersecurity.
Yes, this is,
And am I to understand correctly, AFU is no longer gonna support cybersecurity next fiscal year?
so it ends in 27. I'm not sure of the date. I haven't really looked into that.
Sure.
However, each department is budgeting, and you'll see on the request up to $5,000 to $6,000 for IT services because setting up computers, the issue we have, ASU does not provide IT services.
Right.
All they do is provide the cybersecurity
Right.
and a part. Also, my office has to, so they'll provide the cybersecurity, they'll call my office and say, hey, there's this issue, you have to go fix it. Well, I don't have to fix that.
Right.
We manage somehow, but, they'll be providing all that plus the IT services, so you really wouldn't need departments to have a separate IT budget to repair their laptops, repair their computers, and any of that issue.
So if we maintain our relationship with ASU, instead of your office having to fix the issue, if
No,
we
they don't do
enter
that.
into contract with them,
It'll be that.
because we're not beholden to ASU, that was
We're
kind of an exercise that we, okay.
And
I believe
because-
it's 2 years, right? So it ends and there's no.
Unless there's any more funding for that, I'm not aware of that will continue.
Yeah. And then
Grants,
no
funding,
funding.
ASU's what we've covered now.
Judge, I do want to add that on some of our insurance for the, risk management tool, there are questions now that are asking, who does our cybersecurity, who does our IT, if something happens, who they contact. So it's just something that I do want to add, for our discussion, that they are asking who are the point of contact is, and right now, for at least, yeah, but
Right.
you know, we're just all trying to figure it out. So I do want to add that. It's very important, yeah, because we're in the pool for to have some kind of services.
I knew it wasn't a really good marriage. You know, I did understand that. So my question is this gonna be the only vendor that we're looking at, or do you
He's
plan?
the only vendor that submitted a proposal. I am, because
Right,
my job duties end at the end of this year, unless you guys wanna go look for somebody else. This is my proposal for.
okay, so I have one other question. In the past, when we've looked to do this, excuse me, the county has been very supportive of bringing in a new vendor, but it seems like the sheriff's office, will they be
This is.
feeling totally covered? That's what I want. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
And even to go off your point too with that, if you send us the contact information, we're the mediator. So if something goes wrong or you just give them our information, we'll handle it. If it's anything related to IT or even we call ourselves a total technology partner. So we kind of handle all of that if you need it. We're here to support you. So,
And I heard you said that you already have 2 technicians in
in
Presidio
Presidio,
County?
yeah, Larry's got one.
From the local company down there?
In Presidio? Yeah, perfect. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
You work on home operating systems?
yeah. Do you have like Windows and
Oh.
Apple, but Linux? Yeah. We have a guy that worked at Apple for 6 years, so we pretty much pass all the Apple stuff to him. Because it does work. It does require a little bit, it's like a little bit longer installation where Windows is super easy. It's like 5 minutes. Mac takes about 20 minutes to do the initial install. So the initial install comes with, we would basically send by myself and another one of our techs out. Every computer that you guys have, we would do just cross-reference, make sure there's nothing on there right now. Install all of our software to make sure you guys are up to date with everything. And then the data backup. So you guys have a cybersecurity plan now, and our basic package that's also included with the full IT. You guys are doing a physical backup. We have a cloud backup. Everything's going cloud now. So it's secured. They have 3 different locations. If a disaster happens on the West Coast, your data is still redundantly stored on the East Coast. We have 3 different data centers that we utilize for them. So instead of having to physically back up every single night, that's just a little added bonus too, that it's like, you shouldn't have to do that.
Is that those big boxes that we have scattered throughout the courthouse?
Um,
No, that's only for,
Big thing.
I don't know what the server is for us.
You guys have I don't think there's a server, there's physical drives on top of all the computers that are physical backup. But the thing is, if you have one of those drives that goes bad, the cool thing about cloud is it doesn't go bad and it does it every single night. So instead of having to manually do it, it's automatic.
And I'm not sure who's backing up their computers, like in my office we do, but I'm sure a lot of departments do not have.
Yeah, we don't have that box in my office, but we only use the cloud for all of our. We
Use OneDrive?
we use OneDrive
Yeah.
for everything, so.
I noticed you only have it as a presentation only.
Yes, sir, just so you can, look at, I mean, we can bring us a discussion on wanting to look at the options that they provide, and then, depending on the service that the county wants to add right now. And when you wanna add it, we can bring it back as a item.
I'll need an exact device number count too, so if you guys can get me that, then it'll be accurate quote. And I was telling Ms. Sanchez too, say you have 2 devices the next month that go off that you're not using anymore, we would adjust the number. So whether you're paying for 34 for the month, whether you're paying for 32, like we're flexible. And so we don't want you to be paying for a service you're not using as well.
Do you have a ballpark of what you're thinking about putting in the budget for this?
I was thinking somewhere 45,000 a year, and that would include, it's the whole
Package?
bigger package, yeah.
Yeah, the bigger package with cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity data backup and full manage. You guys are looking, if it was around 30 devices, it's 36K a year, 3,000 a month. You get that 125 gets knocked down from 125 to 100. And I can get you the quote as soon as this afternoon if you want, but I just figured the first presentation to give you guys a little bit of an idea, and I wasn't sure if anybody else was presenting too, but Yeah, we'd love to support you guys.
Had you ever been to Marfa or Presidio County before?
Yeah, I brought my girlfriend here 2 years ago, so
Oh, did
we
you?
have met, we actually went to Big Bend.
You don't like the place.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the Sentinel and get coffee and work on some other stuff right after this, so. It's a cool little town. My girlfriend's really artsy. I tend a little bit more to the technology side, so, and the outdoors, so I love Big Bend. Been there a couple times.
Well, good.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that the first time. I saw that with the, I don't know who did the TVs, but we used to sell the whole place that I sold those TVs. And I think they were the ones at the NFT gallery. So it's kind of cool. Cool idea. I only went to the one last time this year. They had a second one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So any other questions?
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks for taking the
Thank you
time.
so much. Yeah, we look forward to reviewing the contract and getting something done as soon as we can.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for doing the whole.
It was a judge piece, Taylor.
Okay, so we'll get back on queue and we'll move to agenda item number 7. By the Presidio County Sheriff's Office, discussion with action to surplus the following vehicle.
Yes, good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. So this item just was requesting authorization to declare 2 Sheriff's Office vehicles surplus, so that we can include them in the Sheriff's Vehicle auction on July 25th, 2026. They're both older units. They're being retired from frontline fleet service due to age and continued operational use. So we have the 2013 Ford F-150. The mileage on there is 213,881. This vehicle was an unclaimed impounded vehicle that was titled to the Sheriff's Office in 2014, and it's been in use ever since then. And then we have the 2005 Ford F-150. Mileage on that one is 134,461. And this vehicle was originally purchased with county funds. And then the current Blue Book estimate, it's approximately 4,000 for the 2013 model, and it's 5,000 for the 2005. And I think the only difference there is because of the mileage, there's 100,000 extra miles on the 2013.
Any questions? Discussion?
Seems like a no-brainer. I move that we approve the surplusing of the following vehicles: a 2013 Ford F-150 and a 2005 Ford F-150.
What's that?
So I have a motion and second, all in favor?
I
Very good, thank you. Thank you.
thanks, Shauna.
And she has
Thank you.
another one on here. I
Mhm.
think she has the next one. Agenda item number 8, discussion with action to approve the Presidio County Sheriff's Office application for the Sheriff's Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program in the amount of $80,000.
Yes, sir. So this is for, as the judge said, the Texas Comptroller Sheriff Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program. Based on Presidio County's population, the county's allocation under the program is $80,000. And approval of this item authorizes submission of the grant application only. If it is awarded, of course, that's still subject to applicable county approval for the award and purchasing and budget processes.
So you're asking for permission just to apply for the grant?
Yes, sir, that's correct. So this is the grant that's attached to the 287G agreement, which we have fully executed. And so that's why we're applying.
Okay. Any discussion?
I see that there's no match, which is great. So I move that we approve the Presidio County Sheriff's Office application for the Sheriff Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program, SB 8, in the amount of $80,000.
I'll say.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
I
Agenda item number 9, discussion with action to approve a resolution supporting the Presidio County Sheriff's Office application for FY 2026-2027 funding under the State Comptroller Sheriff's Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program and adopting the required grant assurances. So this is the resolution that's tethered to the application. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir, Judge, that is correct. So generally, at least with Senate Bill 22, which is my experience with the Comptroller's Office, they don't normally require a resolution. However, the Comptroller's Office indicated that participating counties should adopt a governing body resolution as part of this application process. So it's formally authorizing the county's participation in the program, and it authorizes the sheriff to execute any documents necessary for the grant application and administration. And again, the comptroller setup for grants is different than e-grants. It doesn't require like the authorized official, the program director, the grant writer, all financial officer. With the comptroller portal, it's only a single official authorized to apply for and maintain this grant. And in this case, it's the sheriff.
Okay,
Well, we just approved them applying for it, so we better approve this resolution. So I move that we approve a resolution supporting the Presidio County Sheriff's Office application for FY 26-27 funding under the Texas Comptroller's Sheriff Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program and adopting the required grant assurances.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 10. So we get to see Mr. Rodriguez again with Lone Star Strategy. Discussion with action to approve a resolution authorizing submission of an application to the Texas Water Development Board for House Bill 500 Water Supply and Infrastructure Grant Funding.
Yes.
And this is, yes, and just so, just to remind myself, this House Bill 500 was only counties are eligible to apply. Correct?
Yes, correct. And it's all for only water, so drinking water projects. No wastewater, anything like that. But this is just to, formally bring it up to the Commissioners Court, but to adopt the resolution. This is for the paperwork side of it. It had already been approved to apply for it, but now looking into the portal and the different paperwork that needs to go in there. So it's a formality.
Okay.
And I
Ramon,
did.
can you remind us what the project is?
So that is what we're going to be working with Mundo and Associates. So they're going to come out here as the engineers, check out, especially the colonias and any other needs for water in the county. And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So,
and then I will
and
say
have
that go ahead, Judge.
That's the meeting you wanted to have on Monday with the engineers. So
that's correct.
And I
so
think
they're planning on coming out on Monday and just kind of doing site visits and just touring the place and the county and seeing what we're going to be working on.
Yeah.
And then this resolution, I sent it over to the county attorney. It looked good to her. So I thank her for that review.
This is just kind of housekeeping.
Yeah, this is just, again, resolution tied to, we've already authorized the application. I think once we get into the meat of it and we can see exactly, and that's why I wanted to emphasize it's county only, because cities weren't eligible.
Great.
But I think it would be benefit us to reach out to the mayors and the cities and ask them, what do you guys have that's pressing? And if there's something that we can support, if obviously we're going to be looking at all the colonias. We already know we have projects in Shafter, Las Pampas, no funding yet. Mostly just technical assistance type stuff. So if we got something that's shovel ready, we can jump on it. If not, we can go back to the cities and say, what do you guys need that's pressing where we could help? Maybe it's just $500,000 worth of valves. Or something else, or updating some meters to be RF read. So, but we'll work through all that with the engineers.
And Judge touched on something. So shovel ready, that's a big advantage. They offer a lot of points, especially on scoring for this. So anything like that we can already build up on is perfect. And then one more thing that I'll add. So basically, aside that this is just a formality, the resolution, basically, like I mentioned, this I will attach it to one of the forms that's in the actual application. So it's needed for me to be able to submit that.
So does this actually complement our existing Colonia grant?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes,
Right.
they're separate.
okay, yeah, I knew they were separate, but it
Yes.
seems like that might get the shovel ready.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve a resolution authorizing submission of an application to the Texas Water Development Board for House Bill 500 Water Supply and Infrastructure Grant Funding.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and I have a second by Commissioner Contreras. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Thank you, Ramon.
Thank you, Judge.
Agenda item number 11, discussion with action to approve the county attorney to enter into an engagement letter with Valbridge Property Advisors for the appraisals of 2 county-owned properties in the North Park area as required to conduct requests for proposals for the sale of properties.
So we are county looking at, issuing requests for proposals to sell 2 pieces of county property both within the North Parks area. One piece of property is a 5-acre unimproved parcel, that is in the middle, it's unimproved, so it's just in the middle of that, about 500 acres the county owns. That was brought up last month in discussion at Commissioner Court meeting regarding, APP wanting to buy this property. We cannot sell property specifically to individuals or companies. We have to do an open RFP procedure. The other one is the bull barn or now bull room. Again, we have to do an open RFP procedure for the sale of that. So, before the local government code, before county can start an RFP procedure, the minimum bid for the RFP procedure on the sale of county property has to be the amount done on an appraisal by an independent appraiser. Finding a commercial appraiser has proven very difficult. I think I made 10 to 15 phone calls a couple of weeks ago trying to find one that would come out here within a month. And Deerwood actually got one. Is an appraiser out of San Antonio. Yes, he came into town last week. So for Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, they were who was appraising a piece of property in Brewster County for them, because Texas Parks is acquiring a piece of property there. And so he said, if I can get out there while I'm already in the area coming from San Antonio and review your properties, then it'll be much cheaper because then I won't have to charge you hotel, travel, mileage, etc. Which is great. So he came out last Thursday. We already did an RFP requisition through the auditor's office, which has been approved. So the amount's been approved in the budget. But he sent me this engagement letter, which is normal for his, his line of business, to enter into the engagement letter to do these appraisals. So he's going to do 2 appraisals, again, one for the 5-acre piece of property and the other for the bull barn piece of property, which is approximately 10.6 acres. The hope is that he can get the appraisals to me on the 5-acre piece before July 22nd, which is our next Commissioner Court meeting, and that way I can open the request for proposals, or I can bring to the Commissioner's Court to approve the opening of an RFP for that 5-acre piece on July 22nd. And that'll open the bidding procedure for a certain amount of days. And then the appraisal for the bull barn will take a little bit longer because he's reviewing structures and the lease has to be included as part of the income driven portion of the appraisal based on the existing lease. So that one I'm hoping will get done in August to open an RFP on bull barn. for the sale of that. But like I said, I can only list the minimum bid for RFPs based on, independent appraisers, so I can't open the RFP until I get an appraisal done. So anyways, that's what this agenda item is about. I'm asking y'all to go ahead and, the amount's already been approved, I'm asking y'all to allow me to sign his engagement letter, which he needs for his business records to move forward with, getting his appraisal.
Discussion from the commissioners? Discussion from anyone?
Does anyone have any
Concerns,
questions?
questions?
Procedure, this is, I think, maybe the first time the county's sold property. At least in a while, I haven't looked that far back. So if anyone has questions about the procedure, it's pretty strict procedure by law. There's a lot of steps that I have to follow. But anyone have any questions? I'm here.
I'll move that we approve the county attorney to enter into an engagement letter with the Valbridge Property Advisors for the appraisals of 2 county-owned properties in the North Park area as required to conduct requests for proposals for the sale of the properties.
I'll second that, Judge.
I have a motion and I have a second by Commissioner Scorpias. All in favor?
I,
Very good. Thank you so much.
thanks, Blair.
Agenda item number 12, discussion with action to approve the interlocal agreement between Brewster, Presidio, and Jeff Davis counties regarding the county's respective prorated payments to the Tri-County Juvenile Probation Officer and Brewster County as the fiscal agent. So, the Tri-County, juvenile probation is made up of Brewster, Jeff Davis, and, Presidio counties. The 4 county judges are on the board along with the district judge. And it's been in existence for, I don't know, at least 12 years, what I say, 12, 15? So it's been a long time. Was it you, Ms. Sanchez, that said we don't have any kind of agreement? We don't have an interlocal agreement to operate. So it's something that we didn't get, it's something more of a for you, checking a box off saying, yeah, I'm marrying up all these.
Yes, sir. So Mr. County is the fiscal agent and they
Right.
send us an invoice every quarter. So this year, the invoice wasn't correct, so I wanted to check the budget that was approved, so the Worcester County treasurer said, I don't have a budget, so I'm like, how are we paying this amount if we don't even have an agreement in place? So everybody started looking for one, I guess nobody could find an agreement, so I think that's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's just putting things in order.
Okay. So, and that was it. I mean, they went all the way back to Judge Val Beer, who was there at the inception when they put this committee together, or this joint venture together, which actually works. It works great. I mean, it's one of the premier ones out there. But that's what this is. It's an agreement. It's an interlocal agreement for us to continue. I'm sorry?
Thank you for doing that, because it wasn't yet.
I suspect you need it for your audits too.
For the audit and also
Right.
the budget are part of that.
Judge, I move that we approve the interlocal agreement between Brewster, Presidio, and Jeff Davis counties regarding the county's respective prorated payments to the Tri-County Juvenile Probation.
Thank you. And
I'll second that.
thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I,
And then I put this one on there, discussion only regarding official public notices. Because I know we're getting into the meat and I just want to have a short discussion. We don't have to get all into it. I know everybody's been doing a little research on the back end. So I kind of wanted to just have a general conversation about it. As we all know, we've got the budget coming up. We've got a lot of publications that we got to post. We've got notices, we've got RFPs, we've got all kinds of things that we've had a process in place. And now with the Big Bend Sentinel going online only, I want to discuss. I know I have had a conversation. I don't know if that's Rob D'Amico on the line. I'll let him chime in. I'm hearing things, if there's a print paper, you have to use a print paper, even if it's local. Or is there validity to having these, public notices online only? And will it satisfy the statute?
Yeah, so, section 2051.0441 of the government code states that when there's a county that doesn't have a newspaper described by section 205.1.44 that is actually published in the county, which would be a physical paper. Then in lieu of publishing a notice in a physical paper, a governmental entity may publish a notice in a digital newspaper if that digital newspaper meets these 6 criteria. And I know that 5 of the 6 criteria should apply here. Number 1 is, it says if the digital newspaper has an audited paid subscriber base. And that's just something I don't know if Big Bend Sentinel does. I assume they do, but I won't make assumptions on their behalf. But the rest of them are been in business for at least 3 years, employ staff within the jurisdiction, reports on local events and governmental activities, provides news of general interest to people in our jurisdiction, and updates news at least once a week. So the remainder of those requirements do apply if they can just confirm that number 1 applies regarding an audited paid subscriber base. Yeah, and they at least their last update said that they're still going to publish a digital newspaper once a week. So as long as they're still doing once a week publishings and, still keeping their staff in the county, then I think we will be fine under this exception to publish notices in a digital newspaper. You are also, if you'd like, you can also publish in Avalanche Journal. Both would be options that the county can use.
Yeah, I can speak to a little bit of that. So yes, we did do audits. To be frank, I don't know the history of them though. So I'm going to have to check with the previous publishers, but they have been done. And you're required to print like a statement of that audit every year, which we do. We're actually going to have 2 editions a week digital. And so on Tuesdays and Fridays. So that's the only change. But yeah, the public notices, they're online, they're free. They're, updated regularly. So it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just online.
So your subscriber list, you would push out our notices to them.
Yeah, so obviously if you're a subscriber, you can go online at any time and look at them. But the newsletters now that go out by email also have a public notice link that then goes to those notices. So the people will get notified that way as well.
And you said since you've been at the paper, Rob, you guys have been doing this audited paid subscriber base.
Correct. However, I don't know when those were done, so I'm going to have to check on that. For instance, I don't know if there was supposed to be one done in the fall and it wasn't, because I don't have any recollection of, any time recently. So I can check on that. There's all kinds of requirements, actually, in addition to what Blair read. And Texas Press Association puts out guidance on this, and we meet all those. And not that anyone else does. I mean, you're supposed to also put these notices on a Texas Public Records site run by TPA. And that's a requirement by law. Otherwise, these notices could be challenged in court. The Avalanche does not do that. Mountain Dispatch does not do that. We started doing it a few months ago. But I think a lot of newspapers just don't know about these requirements. It's rather shocking. But Yeah, so we meet all the requirements now.
And just as another caveat, the newspaper can only charge us what is below the legal rate under the statute. So if your rates are going to increase, we'll have to look at whether we are at below the legal rate, because otherwise it says if no newspaper will publish the notice at or below the legal rate, then the notice will be posted at the door of the county courthouse instead. So.
Yeah, and
Let
I've
us
researched,
know
I've researched the rates, and we're at this kind of average rate of $10 per column inch, which used to be used for the actual print paper. But now it's it equates to the same thing with the number of words. So most of the notices are pretty cheap, 40, $50. But if you get these things like the sheriff sales, auctions, they can be quite expensive. And just a note too, that just to be safe, like let's say you need to publish something twice, a hearing notice or whatever. So I'm actually going to run those for 2 weeks, which would be 4 editions, just because we have a history of being a weekly paper. And if anyone challenged it, we'd say, well, okay, not only did we, we did 2 full weeks. So that's the way it's going to work for those.
Any discussion? Any questions for Rob or?
No, thanks for letting us know about this. I think
I know, I see, I have Mr. Robert Halpern, who, I don't know, did you start the newspaper?
Oh, no, it's, this is I don't know, I'm not supposed to say it, you kind of recall me, I used to be the owner of Peggy for 30 years, and, we're still reading it online, and the fact of the matter is, business in the 21st century is migrating online only. And I get what they had to do. The biggest expenses was labor, like maybe 60% was employees in general, and 40% was the press in terms of others. So I get where we at in this time, but it is the news. It's been here 100 years. They have a newsletter, I suppose. I don't know how you would polish it, but I mean, in the old days, they were described as being like a quarter page, and whatever the equivalent of a quarter page is online, or however they have to price it, but I don't see any reason to change anything. It's gonna be another little lift. How the people who used to rely on the print, it's a local problem, and it's a national problem, and it's a worldwide problem. But the world's going digital. I think you stay the course and publish the proposed tax rate. That's what's coming up, and that's why this was on the city of Martha, and the proposed tax rate, the proposed budget. I don't see why in this day and age that it still can't be done by the Sentinel online. Thank you.
And do we not also, isn't the Big Bend Sentinel our dedicated?
No, we don't do that.
We don't do that in the county, only cities do that?
Yeah, we probably the local, newspaper circulation.
Okay.
So we don't have to contact the next. The county office, like the departments that need it, can't publish pretty much wherever they want.
So I was leading into that the Sentinel is the dedicated keeper of our.
So let's say I have a marketing public, I would probably still publish it in an actual physical newspaper like the Avalanche. Just because the wider reach, not everybody goes into our website and not everybody reaches into every digital part of it. But for, my question was, the budget notices, and I contacted Blade and I contacted TAG, and they said, if you don't have a newspaper that will be running digitally or print, you can post it as all time.
Right. On the door.
On the door and on your website. But since they are doing digitally, once a week, depending on the requirements, we can continue doing that, but you cannot force the departments to just publish what they're thinking.
And if we did post, we post here at the courthouse and also at the annex.
Yes, well,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know
and
my dad's heart.
I just wanted to
Can't go
add I just wanted to add that the intention is to go back to printing a paper. So there's wheels in motion for that to happen. I can't say when, but that's the intent. And yeah, for instance, the city of Marfa has never taken a vote in a long time on the paper record. They looked at the issue the other night, decided to do nothing, and revisited in October. But the same with the county. It's, some counties and some cities take a vote every fiscal year, like, okay, here's our paper of record. We voted on it. This is the one. I believe the Alpine City Council does that every year. But it's just kind of been traditionally the Sentinel. So.
Well, like I said, I only had it as a discussion only. It sounds like everybody's already put give it the attention it deserves. So it looks like we have a way forward. I think, Ms. Sanchez, I think the more if we can post it at the courthouse annex and courthouse, and we can post it online, and if Avalanche costs us a little bit of money, we can do that too. So. Yeah. Okay, so I'll move on to agenda item number 14 by Commissioner Scontrias. It's an interlocal cooperation agreement for road construction and maintenance operations between Presidio County, the city of Presidio, and the city of Marfa. And he has a vision that if there's one thing that we all have in common, the citizens are not happy with their roads at all. They don't like it. They think there's too many potholes. And then we're trying to do, like just the county roads, we have 300 miles of county road to maintain. And we've got, and each city has a road department or employees, public utility employees, and the county has a road and bridge. So this is something of, he wants to go out and see if this is, I think, step one. I think his next mission, and I think he'll bring us into it, is what his plans are with it, but is to for us to approve an interlocal cooperation agreement for road construction and maintenance with the county, and go to the individual cities and say, do you guys have an appetite for this? Do you want to join us? And let's put our heads together. Let's talk about what equipment, like we have plenty of motor graders. The city of Presidio does. The city of Presidio has a roller. We don't have a roller. I think the city of Marfa actually has a paving equipment, but they don't have an operator. So I think if we could form something like this, then we could all put our heads together and say, okay, now let's start to tackle piecemeal it and start to do projects. So.
I apologize for the ink. I didn't realize I was running low. But I did a draft about what county attorney and I were exchanging emails on what we wanted liability wise and how the counties and the cities were to merge so we can make this project work. So I don't know if we have a blessing from the attorney on the agreement I wrote. I would appreciate.
I do know this. I recall every year we do pass a resolution adopting all roads in the county, including in the city. And we do it because we get materials and it allows us to be able to share those. We're the ones eligible to get surplus materials from the county or from the TxDOT. And then we can decide, once we have the materials, we can decide how to, hey, so-and-so wants this, so-and-so wants that. So we're already doing it kind of on a smaller scale, in essence, that we recognize it's a county, it's a small county, small population. All our roads are in dire straits of repair. So.
I'm working on, I just got this work on a few minutes ago. I'm working on, a draft on my own. It's a little bit different from this. So I'm going to subsume his ideas from here into my draft. My draft will be significantly longer, as you can imagine, lawyers like to be wordy. So it's not quite ready right now. I don't know if there's a need, time, and I'm sorry, Oba, that's my fault. I was busy with, budgets this yesterday and I couldn't finish this last night. And then of course, the holiday weekend, I wasn't working on it. So if there's time sensitive need to have this done before, the next 2 weeks before the next commissioner meeting, then, y'all can approve me to work on it, or, if, because it's something that needs to be floated past the cities anyways, it might be best, because last time we did this for the ambulance, stuff, I did an interlocal agreement for the medical emergency services back in January, February with both the cities. And it ended up being a multi phone call with both city attorneys handling over certain terms, because lawyers love to do that. So it might be best to just wait until the next meeting, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna send this, whatever we agree on, we're gonna send it to the cities. They're gonna have their lawyers look at it and they're gonna have a problem with they're gonna wanna make changes to it. And then what we've approved will now have to be unapproved and then approved later, once all the cities have come to an agreement on the final draft. So that's where I'm at with this. I do need to add, specifically liability provisions, indemnity provisions on this. Lawyers love to indemnify and do liability provisions, so I do need to make changes to this.
So you're good with us, making a motion, if we modify it, giving you the ability to go back and dot some i's, cross some t's, add some language.
Or should we
Yes.
table it until?
I'm trying to think of how that would work, because I would still have to go to the other cities' attorneys and we would still have to work with them, just like I did with the ambulance stuff on. And because this agreement, what we did with the ambulance was 2 separate agreements, one with each city. Since this is an agreement between the 3 of us, it's gonna take probably a little bit longer. 3 lawyers talking to each other, it's 3 times as
I
long.
like your idea, just because I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
If, we approve it and she gets it ready, we can send it to the city so that they can start looking at it. Because it's gonna take 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks and.
But then it'll have to come back to us, so bad.
Yeah, that's
Because
why-
there will be changes.
That's why we do it right now.
So you could,
And we bring it back and then we approve it, but because I want to see we can approve it before, but
I'll be done with this before July 22nd, and I can get with Teresa and the city of city's attorney in El Paso
Borges.
on this. We did the ambulance stuff, we got it, I mean, it
We
was
got it.
hours and hours, but we got it done in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Before we got finals, and then we got it pushed out to all the city council meetings and our commissioner meeting, like on the 11th hour, before the grant.
Yeah,
And you,
because it's.
and you, Commissioner Contreras, you talked to Mayor Baeza,
yeah, and to Mayor Burns.
and they're in agreement with the concept of this.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a given, but it's a damn good start.
Well, when Blair keeps mentioning the ambulance and I worked on that. And I did talk with both mayors before, but it takes the city council approval.
Correct.
So I had to take the document and then after their attorneys marked it up, then they had to approve it. And so, it makes more sense that we are, because we still have plenty of time to get it into their budget, okay? Plenty,
That's exactly right. If the cities follow the same thing that we do, when a contract comes through, they take it, even if the mayor or the city council is good with the idea or the contract, they still take it to their lawyer.
Right.
And they don't approve it until their lawyer approves it. And then that's when all the lawyers get involved and start chatting about the liability provisions and audit and all the stuff that no one else cares about.
I guess that's what I'm saying is, if there's a way that we can, if there's a way that we can present a motion that would allow us to pass it and then give you the authority to start moving forward with it, recognizing that there's gonna be modifications and changes. And then we'll have to come back and adopt the new revised.
Yeah, so you can grant me the authority to, work on the agreement and then work on, work with
Yeah.
the other cities and their attorneys on the
Okay.
agreement. If you want to give me the authority to sign the agreement, the final agreement before you look at it, you can do so. If not, then I would just bring, we will just have the final agreement that all the city attorneys are good with at the next meeting for your approval. So you can either pre-approve it for me now without wanting to come back and review the final, or and save it till the next meeting and approve the final then.
On the 22nd.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's best to approve it and let the county attorney just.
Well, can
That
we
would
do
be
it,
the
can we
first
do
step.
it with the way the item is written? Can we give you that authority with the way that the item is written on the agenda?
I think we just added,
Yeah.
I think
Just
we
wanna
just
make
added
sure.
at the tail end,
The
yeah.
other changes she needs to do.
Let me
Yeah,
take,
and what's important, I think, to note for the minutes here is that this interlocal agreement does not involve, it doesn't involve the passing of money between the entities.
Right.
But that becomes a whole different issue, right, when entities are paying each other money. Yeah, so, and that's important here, is to know is that in the minutes, that this agreement does not contemplate that any entities will be paying each other money, they will not be paying each other's employees money. And then, for the materials, each entity is gonna be required to provide and pay for materials on their own roads and property. This is about sharing equipment and sharing services. So that's, I think, an important.
I believe we gotta put in the field because like we talked, Texas bring different some materials.
Mhm.
I believe our counties should, be responsible for that.
Is that in this interlocal agreement?
No, but that's what we're arguing with you. Because she's saying that, no.
You're not
that is-
arguing, you're having a healthy discussion.
No, that-
Well, that's the way it's. I'm sorry.
that each-
I'm not arguing.
No, just that each entity is responsible for providing the material.
That's it.
That way, the city isn't paying for material or isn't required to pay for material on county roads, and the county isn't required, like asphalt or whatever. And the county isn't required to pay for material on the city's roads.
Well, that's what I don't understand because we're the county. So I wanna help both the city of Marfa and the city with materials. That's the deal that every time this comes up about, no, the county cannot go into the city. Where the county, this Presidio County?
We can, as the county commissioners, you can approve that. Usually that's when there's payments involved. Like I'm looking at a agreement that their county has with San Antonio that's very similar. Where one entity is paying the other to do work on the roads. But it does involve a payment because one county is now responsible for buying material to, improve another county's infrastructure. That's where there are payments involved. So if that's gonna be part of the agreement, then we might have to wait till the next meeting because now we're talking about payments. Between.
yeah, and I think we can what if it, I mean, we can, and then what if this, what if that, how about we do this? I think this, just in spirit, I think we're all in agreement. That
And then we
just-
can amend
yeah,
it.
yeah, we could amend it as we move forward to
the agreement.
decide where, is there a dedicated budget? Who puts in what? How much is it? Like I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I want to say, the city of Marfa did a study on their road needs. And I think they identified it would take $20 million to get their roads fixed. And that's a big chunk of it. That's a big chunk of change. And so how do we get, I think again, just if we started working together and start figuring this out and saying, is there a way we could start doing it in-house with our equipment, the existing equipment we have, identifying, priority projects. And then saying, we've got, I don't know, I don't know how many tons we get from TxDOT. It's arbitrary because they give us a number, they tell us they have to identify it as surplus, and then we're eligible for it. But if they say you got 10 tons of road base, I'll take it. If you got 20 tons, what are you gonna do with it? We're gonna do this with it. So,
I do want to clarify that. What I mean is that neither entity is responsible for providing material that, you know, if we have excess, we want to provide material.
Yeah.
We just can't put the requirement of the responsibility in there, because then we come up with fiscal issue.
Yeah.
With a budget issue.
Yeah.
So it's fine, and that's all I'm saying is neither entity is going to be responsible for paying for material for the other entities. Again,
I think you can modify the budget part as we go into the budget, because you want to know how much all this is gonna cost. And let Blair do this agreement as she's suggesting it, and then come back to the budget part of it. See how much, if you
Yeah.
guys want, I said,
Yeah.
kind of what commissioners would just say, well, the county will be responsible, but technically, you know, local agreements is you give me something, I give you something. So it can't be the county providing it all, and then we're not getting, so you kind of have to work and figure out, let's say the county is providing the fund, I don't know, the funding for materials, okay, what are they providing that same value? So you have to delineate that in an agreement. And just because if you're trying to set the, you know, agreement essence right now, she won't have that ready. For next meeting here.
if we keep it to the way I was saying earlier, that there's no funds, passing through.
Yeah.
In either entity, those interlocal agreements are much simpler, legally. You know, no funds passing through, and no one's required to pay for equipment, labor or material for any other entity, and we're just doing a cooperation agreement. You can, if you like, you can go ahead and approve, that I handle that agreement. And if we're gonna start talking about providing funds or paying for another entity's, labor, material, equipment, et cetera, then that's gonna require a more involved conversation.
so,
Seems like we
If-
have a lot of work to do on this, but I think we could move forward by approving, that the county attorney works on this interlocal cooperative agreement for road construction and maintenance. Will it be ready by the 22nd? I think that depends upon what Blair and Commissioner Escontreras come up with, the final details that you want in this interlocal agreement.
Yeah, it's mostly gonna depend on the other cities and how quick their attorneys.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
so
Does that sound good to you, Judge?
I think so. Here's. I was gonna make a motion that we approve this, this cooperation agreement. And then add some language to the back end, giving the county attorney the authority to go and seek out, the legal opinions of the city of Norfolk, the city of Placer, and see what they think, and they come back together and bring us one.
Are you saying we approve this document? Because I just got it a few minutes ago and it's not on the drive, and I don't think that the county attorney has really reviewed it yet. Totally.
Well, the county attorney was gonna have me do that, but I know she's been real busy, so I didn't draft.
Right.
Because I knew he was not gonna be ready today.
So
we-
I just.
My
feel like-
idea is start,
Yeah,
we'll start with something, and we gonna keep postponing this. It's gonna, next time it's something else gonna come about, and next.
I'm not saying to postpone it. I'm saying that we give the county attorney the approval to work on this, but approving this document,
No.
no way. That's just my own
Yeah, no.
personal.
O sea, what we're approving is the agreement and she's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Taken that right, or he meets the standards.
She's gonna have.
Need to enter into a interlocal cooperation agreement.
Right.
And, if you want to.
Right.
Well, yeah, I think what you're saying is, the Yeah, we're approving this one, but we're giving her full authority to go change it. She could change every word. If she wanted to change every word.
No.
With the other attorneys.
This one, you're.
No.
Authorizing me.
Yeah, we correct the agreement and
Yeah.
take the other.
Authorizing her to enter into an agreement, but
No,
this
no,
one,
not
no way.
approving that one,
right,
giving her the
Yeah.
authority
Done it.
to correct it
yeah.
with the other attorneys. City's attorneys.
It's all about trying to do more with,
No, I totally support your
know,
initiative.
you come up
but-
with a lot of.
When, yeah,
Just
well,
super-
no, and I go back and that happens sometimes. When you want something perfect, there is no perfect, it don't exist.
Yeah,
But you can at least get started. In my simple mind, what I look at is, say we got 20 tons of emulsion and road base.
in Texas.
And we do a simple formula and we say, you know what, we can do 2 miles of road with this. We can do 2 miles. And then we come in and say, okay, City of Marfa, City of Presidio, what's your worst roads that if you could fix it today, you would? I would do this. How long is it? It's a quarter mile, it's a half mile, this one street or something like that. And then Marfa, what's yours? This one's my work. Okay, let's go jump on those. And we'll bring a motor grader, we'll turn it over, Presidio, you bring the roller, we'll get certified on the equipment to lay the road base, and that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be something, we're gonna
Judge,
start
I
out.
totally support the intent.
Okay.
I just think that we need to make sure that we get this motion correct.
Yeah.
That we are agreeing to approve the county attorney to enter in to an interlocal agreement. That doesn't lock us into
No.
this, but it keeps it moving
That's what's
forward.
being done today with the attorney, but she's doing this.
Well,
I'm not saying to approve this,
Yeah.
like you say, that's but.
enter into an
Saying
agreement,
it.
keeps it wide
Yeah, of course.
open.
You gotta do it the legal way. She's the attorney.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're trying to get into that agreement and then we're gonna
Right,
let the cities
But
wait.
you know the
and us
legal
go.
stuff, so.
We need to
Right.
take the first step.
right.
We need to take the first
And
step.
it's our job to protect the county
Of
from
course.
itself at times.
Yeah, I'm pulling up my emails now, so
And to
people
have-
that, you know, a lot.
Very well, nice.
You know, we have great.
That's it's all
I
about.
love what you're doing, totally love.
Okay, guys, where we at?
I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we approve that our county attorney enter into an interlocal cooperative agreement for road construction and maintenance operations between Presidio County and the city of Presidio and the city of Marfa.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's move on to agenda item number 16. Discussion with action to change the special meeting schedule for Wednesday, August 26th, 2026 to Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. And it's to meet a budget adoption deadline for FY 27 budget. So sometimes our calendar and sometimes our calendar with the state of Texas doesn't marry up. So
This, because we're going with higher rate than the board approval. As I explained, the deadlines are pretty tight, so in order to meet that deadline, which is 71 days before the general election, that would have to be August 25th. And our meeting was set for August 27th, so just kind of switching those 2 days.
So we still have one on the 26th also?
But that's up to you guys.
Okay,
This is us, meeting I request carried to that here.
okay.
so yeah, we could just leave it on there in case we need it. And we just, so really what you need is for us to add special meeting for Tuesday, August 25th.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we move to change the special meeting scheduled for Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Well, that's what this says.
Yeah, she wants to add it.
Okay, I'm gonna change that.
Okay.
I move that, we add a special meeting scheduled on Tuesday, August 25th, 2026, to meet the budget adoption deadline for FY 27 budget.
Okay, motion,
Seconded.
motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
And then, agenda item 17, discussion with action to designate an officer or employee to calculate and certify tax rates under the tax code, 2604 big C.
Yes, your calculator taxes. Usually, this officer is the tax assessor collector because she has software and can help her better than me doing it manually. So if you want to keep with that trend, Nancy's here. If she has any opposition, she can let us know.
I will gladly accept it. I love doing the numbers. I have a love affair with numbers. So I have no problem.
You dream
did-
numbers.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm not normal.
so, well, I don't think there's anybody better to do it.
Right.
So I'll make a motion that we designate our, county tax assessor collector, to be the employee to calculate and certify our tax rates under tax code 2604 big C.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. Agenda item number 18 is a discussion only. It's a budget workshop. Commissioners to review budget proposals from various departments. So I got a nasty, it wasn't a nasty email. I got an email saying, all right, guys, if you haven't submitted anything, I'm gonna default back to where you were at. And I know everybody's been busy.
Almost everybody's budget yesterday.
Okay.
So thank you for that. So because it was pretty short timing, I tried to upload everybody's department budget, and in a foldering drive called department worksheets received, you can see every department that submitted a budget, and you can go into each folder and look at those. But let me go back to the workshop.
Now, this, and just for everybody, I guess, including myself, I'm refreshing myself. These are requests.
Yes.
This is what they'd like.
Yes.
If they haven't submitted something, there's nothing that will prohibit them from either adding something or changing something.
Well, that.
This just gives us the starting point.
Yes, so this is your starting point, and on the main budget workshop folder, you will see I also added the current wages for fiscal year 27. You can see what everybody's making hourly, what the cost of those wages actually are for Presidio County. That also includes any overtime position, any grants, and anything related to wages. The fiscal year 26, there's nothing, there's no increases to wages on this worksheet yet. We haven't addressed any rates increases to wages this year. You will also see added a spreadsheet that says request fiscal year 27. And on there, I kind of summarized what the departments are requested that is new to their budgets. This is things that are not budgeted yet or that have changed in pricing and there needs to be an increase. So let me know if I need to go slower. You're good? Okay, so on that workbook, you'll see tab that says staffing request fiscal year 27. So on here, we have staffing requests that are not included in the budget yet, they're new. And then we have special raise requests that are not included in the budget. And it's fiscal year 25. I apologize, I need to change some of that stuff.
What document are you on?
Right, that one that you're on.
Huh?
That one that you're looking at.
Okay. I'm glad you can see my computer. So you're saying these are the only staffing requests not included in the budget?
Yes, so right now we have a staffing request, so, the VOCA grant is ending at the end of this fiscal year, so Blair is requesting to create a position in the Senate Bill 22 for a crime victim coordinator, because that is in a position it would have to be approved by the commissioners. And all of this position is contingent on SB 22 continuing to be funded.
What's the position listed right now with the match?
The match is on 820, so the match,
No, I mean, like, how is it listed as?
it's just a match, it's not a position, it's a match position, yeah. In my office, what I added it here, but it has already been approved, and an order is in place for the assistant auditor position to be, from a part-time to becoming full-time. So I added for the commissioners to review the actual cost of these positions. You can see that on column M. The totals may change because I do not know yet the cost of insurance at the moment, so I just kind of did an estimate. Road and Bridge is requesting that their current seasonal budget be converted into a full-time. So rather than having that position as a labor position, creating 2 labor positions that would become full-time. And their request, we would have to increase the hours worked for labor workers, but Fair Labor Standards will not allow you to have labor workers work 40 hours a week because they become full-time employees and the county needs to be paying benefits for those. So Commissioner Sophia and Ruben had this on their budget request to add 2 positions, 2 labor positions. Those positions are paid at, I believe, 1450 based on our size schedule right now. And also, and this is not a request from you, Judge, but I just wanted to add it here, it says that it's from you, this is around the second administrative assistant, I forgot to delete that one from this spreadsheet, so is the election administrator. There has been discussion of created the position of the election administrator. So that position is, if adopted, would be under the county judge. So that's why I added you as the department requesting this. There have been discussions on the pay, so that would be a salary position, would be about $40,000, and that's just a discussion right now. And what the actual cost of that position would be. You can see that on column M. We also have some special rates requests, and this is the county attorney who's saying, if the commissioner decide to give the employees a raise, my assistant will get one. Under SB 22, already existing executive assistants cannot get raises. Why is that? I don't know if they're SB 22 for the prosecutor's office is completely different than the sheriff's grant. So in case the county was to give a raise, she's asking for that for her assistant. And the other special request we have is from the sheriff, from the actual sheriff, to increase his budget, his wages by $10,000. And that raise would come out of SB 22, and all these increases are obviously contingent on readiness.
So no county money at all, just SB 22
Yes,
for the sheriff.
Hello, kind of explaining the request. And you will see on the request as well, there's a dispatch, so because we terminated the holiday incentive pay to anybody that worked the holidays, now we're gonna pay those hours of a time and a half. So the increase on their budget is reflecting that change. Also, the JP Presidio, JP2 is requesting that her second part-time be returned to her office at the beginning of fiscal year 27. That budget would to be returned to her budget. So that's from the statutory requests. I don't know if you've had any questions.
So with the JP2 returning that position, that means that we would take that out of where it is currently, which is in the tax assessor collector's office.
So it's not the position, it's actually the budget. The position is still existent, it's just not being funded at the moment. So she's requesting that the budget part of it be returned to her. starting, fiscal year 27.
When does the new JP go into the office, Jan first?
January.
Okay, so this will be important for the new JP.
So it's not the movement of an employee.
So the position, you cannot play her position, it's already there, you can play her budget.
Right.
She's requesting that the budget be returned to her so she can hire, an assistant, another part-time assistant. I don't know what the agreement between the court and her office was. You would probably have to take the budget away from the tax assessor and return it to her. I am not sure what happens to the employee there, so I'll leave that.
Yeah,
For 2 months?
well, no,
Yeah.
here's where I'd feel more comfortable. I think this is all of these.
Yeah.
I think we should go into executive session
Yes,
Okay,
and maybe put it on our next agenda.
okay.
And that way we can discuss as a commissioner's court and be a little more free, because there's some HR issues and things that
Right.
I don't wanna muck the
I
water.
think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
request of right now. Whatever the internal, solutions are, there are different things. If you keep scrolling on this worksheet, you'll see other services requests. So, the county judge office is requesting a Adobe subscription, because Karen didn't say. She was using my personal subscription for a while there.
They keep kicking me out.
And yes, you said so I kick her out. They're also required to hire or to have, what is it, for reporter?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so this sign here would be, rather than you hiring a court reporter, as a staff member, you buy this, or you purchase the software, and this is the yearly license to have it. So the judge is buying that with this year's funds, but this is the license for the next year.
Got it.
The license would be for the support and maintenance of the cloud, and also for my support for needing to learn. Then they will be showing me how to work everything, which it sounds pretty simple, but you know. So that, and then after that, after I get comfortable and see how it works and everything, we can decide to do the.
It's certainly more inexpensive than hiring an individual. Yeah.
Is the equipment included in it? Cause I get like the equipment, right?
That's for a good year.
Okay, good. Yeah, oh, no, the district court is not, that is not including the equipment, that's just the license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The district court will share their equipment.
Yes. So you can go through the list if you wanted to know detail, but I'll have the department do their presentation, so I will go into every one of these ones. The next tab, you can see the operating and maintenance general. So in our budget now, we talk anything office supplies, any item that's under $500, anything that supplies general is every equipment that's $500 to $4,999, and any capital purchase is $5,000 and above. So you can see the request here
It's under operating.
for, and I apologize, I was doing this last night, so obviously I forgot to take away some of this stuff that does not belong in this fiscal year. The only one that's operating supplies that belongs there is the concrete for the new yard in March. So if you move on to service contract licenses, these are the subscription and licenses, different departments are requesting. Then we move on to the budget and your budget request. We have, so here I added the match for the engineering design taxiway for the airport. And in non-departmental, I increased the budget for matching, for grant matching. We currently have a match for TechStop. It hasn't been used, so we have to kind of budget it again until that part of the contract is going. But the remainder is for other grants that the judge and the county are working on, and we don't have specific match amounts, so this is just a projection. I kind of thought about $350,000, which kind of simplifies what you would probably need for matching throughout the fiscal year, but we can look into that in more detail. Then we move on to capital outlays, and you can see, these are requests that are $10,000 and above. A lot of these ones are for road and bridge equipment. I told Commissioner Sombria, this is your wish list.
wish list.
You can ask for whatever you want. So the airport and the annex and the road and bridge departments are what they would like purchase included in there. And then we have capital projects, which are repairs, mostly are like the annex of our house and road and bridge. Materials for CDO Marco, materials for CDO Presidio, AC system, paving equipment. This is your wish list. So, now I would like to give the opportunity to any department that likes to present or request a budget to go ahead and do it. This is just an overall view of what is included in there.
Any?
So I have 7, 8 separate budgets. So for the sheriff's office, the general fund budget, we make every effort to maintain a conservative fiscal year 27 operating budget. The majority of our operating line items remain unchanged from fiscal year 26. Of the things we are requesting, it's nearly all attributable to county policy changes or contractual obligations rather than just discretionary spending. Just a quick summary. So it's the implementation of the county's paid holiday compensation policy, a full year renewal of our ProLogic annual software contract. That's for COPSI, fiscal year 26. We just made a prorated payment to carry us forward into the new contract, which the start date is October 1st. The contractually required annual escalation of the Shinati repeater. And then we are experiencing transition of recurring software licenses from expired grant funding. So equipment that we purchased in the first few years of the Lone Star grant specifically, a lot of it we paid with the grant for 3 to 5 years of licensing up front. So now we've expired that 3 to 5 year period. And so the reason that our budget's not in the red currently is because we were able to absorb that cost and we had the smaller prorated cost for COPSync. But next year we're going to be paying the full amount for the COPSync contract as well as all of these licenses. So that's why we were requesting the increase.
And Lone Star will no longer cover those specific costs?
That's something that I can ask about. Especially especially since the initial equipment was purchased using their funding. So again, that's not something that's written in currently fiscal year 26, and it wasn't written in fiscal year 27 either. But that doesn't mean we have a little bit of wiggle room with the Lone Star fund, so that's definitely something that I can look into.
Wiggle.
Yeah, for sure.
Please.
I will. I definitely will. So I believe the auditor touched on, because of the county holiday policy, we're now paying out at time and a half for the holidays. So we are requesting a $8,000 increase to the full-time line. That's to cover the estimated holiday pay premium. And that also provides reasonable contingency for scheduling variations and holiday coverage by the Stone Garden funded deputies. Stone Garden grant funds regular wages only, but the county is responsible for employee benefits after 1 year and the applicable holiday pay associated with those positions. So by my calculations, it's 324 equivalent pay hours. That's basically the halftime extra that we have to budget for. The average deputy county base pay is $22.06. So multiplied together, it comes up to $7,146. But that's regular full-time deputies only, not counting the Stone Garden deputies, which we have 2. So that's why we're just rounding that up to 8,000. If that makes sense. And then so for our increase in service contract and licenses, as I was saying for the CoLogic contract, So fiscal year 25, the amount in the contract was 9,169. Fiscal year 26, we did the pro rate 3,900. The fiscal year 27 cost, it'll be due October 1st, is $10,543.92. So right now, with all these extra licenses added in that are rolled over from our Lone Star funds, we're at 75% of the budget currently in service contract and license. So just to cover that Collogic increase, we're requesting $6,643.92. And then also in service contract license is the Shinati repeater. It's written into the contract at 3% annual escalation. So for the whole year, fiscal year 27, that's an additional $250.44. Questions, comments? That's all I have for the sheriff's office general fund. No, okay, so then if you want to just move into the dispatch budget, again, we've rolled everything over. Again, the auditor touched on it, because of the change in the county holiday pay. We have to budget extra, for paying out holidays at time and a half, so we are requesting $4,000 to the full timeline to cover that. Everything else is the same.
Got it.
Makes sense, okay. Moving right along, we can go to the abandoned vehicle fund. So the auditor asked us to project revenue, which is not something we usually do. So, I mean, we are projecting $50,000. That's based on historical collections and it's an estimate. Basically the revenue can fluctuate depending on impound activity, court proceedings and auction timing. So throughout the first 2 quarters of fiscal year 26, we've already moved, the impound fees for the sheriff's office that we got through the MOU with Marker PD, that's already been moved over into our abandoned vehicle fund. So, the remainder of what we had left, which was from our auction in March 2026, vehicles impounded by sheriff's deputies. And the remainder of our current impound fees left, we had about $19,383 that we needed to add in. Abandoned vehicle, we operate on our ending fund balance. So it can literally change until the end of the fiscal year, yes. So we did add in the $19,383, general supplies, fuel, office supplies, operating, education and travel. And we are having a vehicle auction July 25th. So those revenues.
July 25th?
Yes, sir.
Has it already been posted?
No, sir.
Hasn't?
The deadline is next week for that.
Okay, so do you think that we could identify all the equipment at Road and Bridge to include on there?
To have the same with your auction.
So everything has to be identified, everything has to be surplus in Commissioner's Court prior to the
So
sale.
probably not.
Right, and so we have to advertise next Thursday, or next week would be the deadline, we have to advertise twice. So the deadline for me to get that to the newspaper is next week.
So yeah, so we can't make that.
Too close.
When would be the next projected auction?
So, and I did listen to the meeting last week, I spoke to the sheriff about it, he said he'd be open to doing that. There is a lot of, the sale is like 1/4 of the work for the auction, so Road and Bridge does need to like identify all these items, everything needs to be surplus. And we could go from there. I do think it would be possible potentially pull something together in August.
Okay.
Definitely do that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, sure. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so, the seizures fund, again, this is budgeted for ending fund balance. we projected zero revenue for this because forfeiture revenue can't be reasonably estimated. So, I mean, we would only budget that when there's a legally supportable basis to do so. So we try not to spend out of seizures unless we know we have something coming. In this case, I'm not aware of anything, so it's a reduction of about 5,000 from fiscal year 26, basically just carrying over there. For the Astray budget, essentially the same thing. We did project revenue here and it's very conservative. For Astray auctions, the revenue depends on livestock impoundments and auction sales, and it can really vary significantly. I think in 2020, fiscal year 25, we have one auction. Fiscal year 26, we've not had any. So it's a very low projection. And again, this is the ending fund balance. So we're just carrying forward the ending fund balance that we currently have. Pretty much the same thing with the Leos fund. Revenue projected at $4,000. That's approximately what we received in March of 2026. We receive those funds every March. We add them into the budget through a budget amendment. And receiving them the next year is contingent upon us spending those funds for education and travel. Well, education. And again, yeah, it's ending fund balance. So then we can go to Senate Bill 22 for the sheriff's office. Again, as the auditor touched on, the sheriff is requesting a salary increase from $80,000 to $90,000. This request reflects the sheriff's nearly 3 decades of continuous service to Presidio County, beginning in 1997. And it recognizes as well the increased administrative, operational, and statutory responsibilities to the office. And the salary is consistent with regional compensation. The Culberson County Sheriff, he currently receives $90,000 annually, and the Brewster County Sheriff receives $95,000 annually. So this is going to put Presidio County within the range of neighboring counties, while also recognizing the sheriff's years of service. And I did budget for Senate Bill 22 for fiscal year 27 to reflect a 3% salary increase for all eligible SB 22 funded employees. That does include the raise in FICA and retirement as well. And that's same for the sheriff's raise. So the wages, the FICA, the retirement increase, all of that is covered through Senate Bill 22. Any questions there? Yeah. And I believe the last one I have would be Senate Bill 22 for the constables. The revenue is just based on our anticipated grant award for fiscal year 27, and I think we pretty much know Senate Bill 22 for the constables is a lot different from the sheriff's office. It's only for wages, and it only pays 25% of their wages.
It's like $7,000.
Right, approximately 8,000 per constable, and that includes FICA and retirement. Question?
You gotta raise the picture and
Don't look at me.
everybody asking for more money.
Nancy doesn't have any SB 22 money.
No.
She wishes she did.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Shauna.
Commissioner, I can only think that. I think you submitted the Veterans Office budget, the emergency management budget, and the prospective elections budget.
And the
To include,
commissioner.
and the commissioner's budget.
Right. So, I'll start out with the VCSO. And it's only. So if you look at the budget, actually, the proposed budget for 27 compared to the amended budget is only $5 in addition. for other services, as you know, our VCSO is becoming accredited. And what that means is when a VCSO is accredited, they can go directly into the VA's files, and they don't have to call the VA's office. In order to do that, once Mrs. Strada gets accredited, she has to purchase a software from the Texas Veterans Commission. That is for $800. I'm also requesting a $5,000 annual car allowance. And I'm also requesting that for the 4 commissioners when I get to the commissioners' budget, because Mrs. Strada has been traveling back and forth to El Paso quite a bit, taking people to the VA. She comes up to Marfa, she's in Presidio, she's out at Candelaria and Redford, and we do not provide her with a vehicle. So that's why I put the $5,000 annual car allowance in keeping with what I'm going to request for commissioners. This past year, I actually paid for all the flags out of my insurance money for the veterans to be placed at their grave sites. And that cost was approximately $1,500. I think that is something that we should have in our veterans service officers budget. And then finally, 200, which is a little high for annual memberships to the local American Legions. Any questions on the VCSO? Okay. Next, I will jump into emergency management. So I've learned a lot this past year, having supervised our emergency management coordinator. And you will note in that budget, the proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 is $30,900, which is actually less than the 26 by $800. And how did I get there? So part of what I'm going to go into my service contract license. And I should have done a better job. I wish I would have listened to Shauna's delivery, because the emergency management also is responsible for a Chinati repeater site. And I put the total amount, and I should have just put the increase. Yeah, so you'll figure it out. So there's going to be a 3% increase, just like the sheriff's department has. And then on the Hyper Reach annual contract, and that is our reverse 911 emergency notification system, I'm keeping that at the same as $6,000. When you look at the other services request, we budgeted $3,600 for the annual maintenance and emergency repairs of the Chinati repeater. You know, we have dodged a bullet up there for a few years now and not had to do any maintenance on that. But I want to make sure that there's something in the budget to cover that. Then what we worked on this year was we have 4 portable generators. 2 were down in Presidio, 2 up here in Marfa. What we did is we brought them all up to the actual ag barn so that we can get them serviced, and we have actual purchase order in place to get all 4 serviced out so that they can actually work when we need them. But so that is covered with this fiscal year's budget, but for 2027, we're expecting that there may be some repairs and stuff that need to be done. That's where the $5,000 is after our annual service maintenance that's being done this year. We also have a sandbagger that is, pretty specific to, Presidio. And, we are tracking down someone that can maintain that sandbagger. So we're proposing an annual maintenance of $2,000 so that we can get that completed. We've done an inventory of how many sandbags, and we think we have enough for the next fiscal year. But, why have the equipment if we can't make sure that when we push that button, it starts? Then you'll see there's forklift maintenance. We have a very decrepit, aged forklift that is utilized. And it has not, I'm gonna call this deferred maintenance. It hasn't been touched in years. So there's 2,500 for that forklift. And my proposal, and this is what I wanted to meet with you about, Judge, is that, we have quite a bit of good equipment in emergency management. And we have been parking stuff wherever we can. I am going to recommend that we take over the ag barn that is not being utilized, and that emergency management starts centralizing all the equipment we have so that when we have to deploy that, we can easily do that. So I checked on what the electrical and annual water fees, and that is $3,500 out of the ag barn. Any questions about that? So that is emergency management. I think I'm still up. Next is the commissioner's budget. And the only thing that I did was I proposed that the commissioners are given an annual car allowance. Some of us put in a lot of miles on our own vehicles, and I'm recommending a $5,000 per commissioner annual car allowance so that we can actually do the job that we've been elected to do and go and visit throughout our precincts and be able to visit with our projects, visit with our constituents. And that's a lot of wear and tear on our personal vehicles. Finally, elections administration, and Judge, this would go under your office. We have been talking about elections administration, an elections administrator for a year now. Both our tax assessor collector and our county clerk has asked us that we give them some retrieval in the form of having a dedicated position for election administrator. So in the staffing request, I am requesting for that position of elections administrator at a proposed annual salary of $40,000. Of course, this would be an exempt position. I'm also looking at, by law, we as a county have to make sure that there are elections that take place. There's some things that we do in the county that is fluff. Elections is not fluff. So we're also looking at an increase in election judges' hourly rate. Touched base with the city of Marfa, and I think the city of Presidio a rate of 20 increase. I think that the increase
Right, yeah, five clerks right now. And she probably increased her budget to send two of them to training, so you're taking it away. You're putting her back to where she was when she began.
I did talk to you about it and I thought we could, but then. the
Sure.
treasurer-
And I'm not taking away anything. I just asked
Yeah.
if you can support this. So that makes sense because you made it clear to me about with overtime, what you needed for when tax statements go out. So you weren't, so that, I get it. So I need to take that off.
The overtime for the clerks, however, in the clerks, it was for, district and county clerks to work elections. So
Right.
that budget can be moved into
Right.
the elections office, fully.
Right.
They don't have overtime. I mean, they have a few overtime, if Medina has to stay some district cases, but that overtime is minimal.
Right.
I was gonna just mention that the cost of the increase to that election budget would be around $75,000 to the actual budget.
Thank you. Questions?
Any other departments?
Yeah.
No.
Mine is, No, none.
Okay. Mine is real short and sweet. And I promise I won't give that this question. I'll be simple, okay? There's three of them where he changed it. Pretty much everything is the same on vehicle parts and repairs. We had originally budgeted last year 750, but it was amended to 1250 because we have to get some tires for the van. And eventually the car that I'm using, the one from the sheriff department, is probably gonna need tires, so we moved it up to 1250. The other change is on service contract and licensing. Last year, of course, that's gonna come down 42% because we did the initial cost for the property tax program, Civil Media. So this year it's gonna come down, last year was 92 something, 92,000, it's gonna come down to the annual 38,500. But I added in there, a quote we received from, because we're trying, usually, traditionally, the tax lien statements, which we have about 18,000. We would have to close the office and the clerks would have to work overtime to get everything statements out. And we also had people that would volunteer. I thought it would say that they have to have some of the people at the courthouse actually help her write. So we got a quote from Master Touch, and they quoted us to send out our statements, and they do the paper, the postage, everything,
3,240.
Yeah, which is, that's almost the postage we pay. So that's a pretty good price. So if I integrated it with Federal Media's annual contract, that would be really wonderful. Also, we would have to close the office. The office had to be closed for 4 days, more or less 4 days. So the customers were missing out on. So I think it's a great thing. So that's why we integrated it in that part. And also the only other thing is membership subscription. Originally it was $850. It went up a little bit because in that $1,050, it's $150 annual membership fee for it to be in TACA, the TACA annual membership, and we want to upgrade to QuickBooks Online. It's $900 annually. Because currently we have QuickBooks 2018, and it's on a desktop in the back of the office. Yeah. And we have to turn it on. It takes a couple of minutes before it gears up. It's really outdated, so I want to upgrade to where we can have access to here, Presidio, when I'm in Presidio. Those were the only changes that we're really requesting. Everything else is the same.
Can you check
Let's see.
the online, the QuickBooks online?
I already did.
You like it on,
Yeah,
that's what I use and that's.
yeah, I used it when I was the treasurer at the Presidio Municipal Economic Development District. That's what I was using for it. And it's pretty easy.
It's pretty.
2000, oh my gosh.
17.
17. Well, I had to, the auditors from El Paso said, send us the general ledger from theirs. So those are the only changes. And also Commissioner Heisler, kudos to you. I'm so happy, and I know you're County Clerk also, that you took the initiative to do all of that budget, the job descriptions, because it's true, we have a lot on our hands. So when Carolina went in there, because I was working at seeing the budget and all of that, she went in there, she says, you know, Commissioner Heisler's working on it. I'm like, really? Really? I was so excited.
Well, I appreciate all the help y'all gave me.
No, you did.
Thank you.
And to everybody, thank you for last year for authorizing that Spindle Media Tech for.
Life saving.
Right?
Life saving.
Customers are too. They're like, to see that actual receipt from the computer instead of having that dollar store receipt, you know?
Right.
So you guys, thank you for the support that you've given our office. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us into the current century. Right.
Any other budget?
Yeah, I don't have a change in mind, so I'm gonna really quickly go here, so the next one will be live. Next meeting will be live. The monthly changes, so, let me see what the changes that I have to do for my employees. SB 22 pays for 20%, approximately 20% of Jessica's, salary and benefits, and it will then be changed to 100%, for the next fiscal year. And then, so that's the changes on my SB 22 budget. The changes for my budget, is there was change this past fiscal year that the treasurer and the auditor did on how they determine was a capital outlay and what, now capital outlay is anything over 5,000. Before it was over 500. So I moved my capital, and I don't need anything more over $5,000. So I've moved the funds from capital outlay over to supplies general, which is a new line item under our new software. So the changes that I have made there are just pursuant to the needed changes because of our new policy, the treasurer's office. I also moving the fuel budget. I have $300 in fuel budget, but I don't have a vehicle for the fuel budget. So I'm moving that over to education and travel budget, because if I use mileage, it comes out of that budget and not the fuel budget.
Makes sense.
And then the other change was, and this is just because I'm not an auditor, and I don't know the difference between service contract licenses and contracted services dash IT software. I thought they were the same.
No, they're not. So, service contract license, any license like a Adobe or any sort of that thing. The other is for our IT services in person. Let's say you need our computers, your laptop.
Right, so what we're doing now, or the
Yeah, we're not gonna get taken away from that. If the commissioners approve us having, we would move this to a different, I would probably pay up fund for that.
Okay,
Pay out of it.
right now I have it listed as 1,000, I don't know if that would cover the new, whatever new contract we're anticipating, but mine can be moved around. I just didn't know the difference between those two line items, so they sounded the same to me.
They just have to say.
But overall, I'm not asking for an increase or a decrease in my, my general fund budget. It stays the same, it's just a few line items. And that's no change in, salary, well, there might be a change in benefits.
Right.
But no, I'm not asking for a change in that stuff. Like, any questions?
No, and I know that you haven't heard much from us as you guys are presenting this. We're just absorbing it. We're just listening.
Yeah.
It's our first look at it, and so our little gears are turning. I know Shanna was over there like, are you guys gonna say anything? And I'm like, the gears are just turning. We're just listening. We're trying to get a taste for where we're at. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, I know really early, and since mine, I don't really have many substantive changes, I wanted to just show it to y'all, that way the next meeting, when y'all are really overwhelmed with stuff, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And we'll move on to, that was a discussion only, so we'll move on to department reports.
I'm pretty sure that everybody's department reports were there, you'll see like 2 reports for the volunteer fire department from Martha. It was very good out of town last month, so I added last month and this month in there. The only report I did not receive this month was the market EMS report, but everything else was there.
Okay.
Judge, I move that we approve the Presidio County Department reports.
I have a motion
I'll second that.
and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, administrative updates and announcements. So, commissioners,
We just had a gentleman before I came in, meeting from Chelsea Puedes, he was complaining of potholes. So I'll let Ruben know about it,
Do you know his name?
No,
Okay.
He didn't even right on the street, but he said it was also Perez.
I actually invited some of the Salsa Puedas to come because I knew your agenda items so that they would know that we're moving towards that. So that's been my deal, but thank you.
His name is Arturo Sanchez.
Arturo Sanchez. Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner? Anything else? Commissioner Contreras?
Our city road and bridge, county road and bridge yard is ready. We're,
Congratulations.
we're expecting some, supplies and furniture and other stuff. And I believe we should do like a ribbon cutting, for the building.
Okay.
And, it's gonna be it. Next phase.
Did we, was that in the bills? To finish paying the contract?
Yes, we,
Yeah. So we'll be done with him.
we're done with him and, we had a problem this morning with the AC system in Presidio, so, I believe, we should put an item on the agenda so we can replace those old units.
For the annex?
For the annex, yeah, this morning they were sweaty.
I know you got some,
We have money.
Yeah, we got some.
Yeah.
I've been waiting there for another proposal, I don't know,
But.
we should move. Yeah, we could put the new system there. That's basically what I.
Good job. So all I have to report, I got a call yesterday about another AI interest. But it felt real weak. And they were talking about possibly tapping into our grid, and I said, you may want to talk to AEP first before you even consider that. Other than that, I am having a meeting with Bernard Construction regarding the border wall next week. And I'll certainly report back to you, Blair, regarding, I'm sure they're gonna talk to me about cheese stuff. And that's it.
She's my road line and my person, right? Yeah, I would like to be in that meeting, so see what happens.
So, was Barnard, awarded some of the construction in Presidio County?
Yeah, Bernard is over to Fort Whitman and then up close to like west of Presidio. And then Fisher Sand and Gravel picks up and goes onward from there.
Yeah. So, anyone else? No? Tax assessor, clerk, treasurer?
So if you want to, announce the ambulance, right?
Ramon did.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and I think everything, especially with, it's gonna get even a little more, yes. It's gonna get harder for all of us, because we have budget, and then we've got the wall, and we've got everything going on with that. So, I do know, and county attorney, I know, I sent you an ordinance that Hudspeth passed on road use.
Those road permits, yeah.
Special road permits. Again, I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm fine to enact it, yeah. Special road use permits is about the use of road, construction on road is a little bit different, so I don't know how applicable it'll be for the Barnard, stuff. I'll try to widen the scope to include construction, but that's, construction on roads is a little different than actual just use of roads. But whenever you're ready to bring up that conversation again, I can look back into it and start working on documents.
I think and at least, and I don't know if you want to, I don't know if my MO is working, but sometimes these discussion onlys seem to let us filter out all the disagreements or misunderstandings and everything that's with it, and we don't have to, I kind of like that. I believe the Hudspeth one, they did it because they have a huge, mining operation that's coming in. And it's, rare earth. And so, and that was their initial taste with working on this. And obviously now it's gonna also take effect with the construction. I think Hudspeth County has close to 49 miles of wall being built. We're gonna have 60, tentatively, what's on the books is 64 and some change. So, but it's one of those things, I like the fact that it holds them accountable
Yeah.
to the condition of the road, the use of the road, and any damages to the road. So we already do a good enough job of ourselves of not maintaining them the way we should, and then they come and tear them up. Yeah, even worse. But I think it's even though I think right now everybody is, if you discuss anything about the wall, and something about, like, to me, I look at this as being proactive. That, do I want the wall? Absolutely not. Could it come? Absolutely, it could come. And this is being proactive to say, if you do come and you are on our roads, we're gonna hold you liable to these standards. So, but unfortunately. Yeah, unless in your opinion of what Hudspeth has, and without too many modifications, that we could get something passed. Or,
Well, if you want to do a discussion on the, start gathering
let's do that.
comments, flush that out.
Let's,
Later, come back with an action.
yeah, let's do that then.
I don't know how busy next meeting looks like, and I know any discussion regarding this might bring a.
Yeah. So I like those
It'd
two.
be well attended.
I'd like to, yeah. So we'll go into, again, if you would, an agenda item to go into executive session for personnel. Is that the right one? Yeah. And then that'll allow us to discuss everything that we need to. And then I'll put on the agenda a discussion only regarding, road use.
Okay. If we're anticipating essentially a group of interest public, do we see if PMDD might be a better venue? Or you think just leave it as is?
No, as is,
Okay.
as is. Or you mean on the road use, you think there'd be people that would show up?
That's-
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would you make note of that, Gotti? And just make note, we'll reach out to, the next meeting will be what, the 22nd?
Yeah.
Wednesday, the 22nd in Presidio, and we'll see if the PMDD office is available.
For
The PMDD office, John Kennedy.
the next meeting, potentially see if we can use the PMD office. If we put a road use discussion item on there. Bring it. People.
Joe, can you give us an update about voting, or do you think that's something?
No.
Okay.
I'd rather not. But, I don't have anything else unless you guys have questions of me. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move with you. I said.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you.